Hello and greeting to all to another weird video of mine of random digital drawings. And yes, today I am going to be showing you of my drawing of this beautiful lady, Juliet Anderson, also known as Aunt Peg. Not my actual aunt, but that's one of her characters that she portrayed as in many of her adult films back in the day. And she had other character names as well, so yeah. There is not any nudity or any NC-17 or AO stuff. This is the image that I found online that I have seen so many times before and stuff, and it was the least sexualized version of her. I just happen to like how the lighting is, her hairstyle, and also her facial expression stuff. This is my, you know, my example that I am using as a resource or reference material. Yeah, if you're wondering, this I just started like recording it after I happened to end up liking the way it ended up being. Of the basic outlines in line drawing, I didn't record the beginning because anytime I tried doing that, I just happen to just stare at a blank canvas, more or less. And it's like, oh God, what am I doing? You know? And sometimes when I do fixate it, if I have like the source material on the side, or a lot of times I do a lot better when I'm drawing from memory, but I do way better when I have a source, like reference material that it's right there, that's not on a tablet or anything. Even if it is, I do some off the side and I'm drawing on paper and stuff, because for me, I'm a traditional artist. I love drawing using pencil and pen and charcoal and stuff like this because I can really get the shading I want and the textures by using my thumb and hand and fingers and all that, just smudging techniques and stuff. Yeah. My problem with working with digitally like this, and especially if you flip back and forth between your reference material, right now I still haven't figured out how to get that little screen for having your reference image on there, except for having it on a layer that's underneath. Yeah, that's good if you want to trace, but I was more of trying to do is draw from reference. It took me a few tries, and this is like the best variant of her. So if you notice, I actually drew the head and whatever, and also drawing of the hand. Wasn't sure if I should keep the hand or not. That's why I just left it more sketchy and stuff. So, yeah, that's just how things work at times when you're just like, is it good? Is it not? Am I actually going to really bother to publish this and stuff and have a voiceover? Yeah, but to let you know is that not everyone is going to be absolutely perfect with the most perfect tablet that you have. It doesn't matter. Like if you have a screen tablet, it could be, you know, like a XP pen tablet, really big one. I had one. It was fantastic. It was nice, but you needed was the stylus to work with. It wasn't touchscreen or anything like that. But the more expensive one of that size and bigger also had was a hard drive built into it, so you could actually work with hooking it up to your computer or computing device or having the software on there, the art program that you're using, and just on the go with this tablet with I think it had was also like storage capacity, like an SD card slot. I think that's what it had as well. So it was touchscreen and, use the pen, the stylus. This one I'm using like an off-brand Chinese version of an Apple Pencil that is way cheaper, and it works on Apple, Android. You probably work it on other things. I've tried it on other, Apple and Android devices and stuff. It works fine. It is perfect. It's lightweight. It's not like feels like junk or anything with a lot of the BS kind of junk that you might find. Yeah. Most of this I left it black and white. I also did was colored her, but I wasn't sure like should I go with the pencils and stuff and having that effect of colored pencils like I did with another digital drawing that I've done, which I've noticed that there's like some defects. Same thing with this one. There's like some slight defects, like the eyes are not completely centered or even, you know, correct, of the shape and stuff. It's when I zoom in and out of things, it's kind of that thing where you start concentrating on one section of a drawing and then you back away and you end up having things mishmashed. That's why some people just do is have multiple layers on each of the body parts and rotate it around, or just cut and crop all the things and readjust and edit and moving it. I really don't like doing that at times. I only really do such of a thing if it's actually necessary, but for something for me just to play around with, of just doodling and drawing. Yeah. So this is kind of what I was doing. Nothing really fantastic, but yeah, anyone that the ambition or the drive, you don't really need the technology, but even with the technology, and let's say you do have traditional art skills, it's hard to do is translate digital, physical skills, the traditional skills with the digital art, and vice versa. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but you can adapt to go one way or another. And this is really to show that you don't have to be perfect with your drawings. Something that is, frivolous is what I'm doing. It's silly. It's just something to play with, It's not like I'm creating some wondrous masterpiece at this moment. It's just something that I was doodling than anything else. I just wanted to show you that some days you can have bad days, and even with things that don't look that great, you can end up making it better. Or at least show it off to say, hey, everybody has their bad days at drawing or any form of art that you do. Because nobody's perfect. All the tools that you see that I work with, all of these brushes, I made them myself. And yes, you can buy them on my Etsy page. They're not that expensive, and I am working on several more brushes that I'm going to do is combine them into a massive pack that I haven't really, liked a lot of the brushes that I was creating now, because sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and yeah, it ends up being kind of a pain. They're also for sale on my coffee page as well. I work more on coffee than anything else of putting my stuff there, so yeah, check it out. You can see some of the kind of stuff and anything you can find. some of my really old stuff that happens to be hidden somewhere within the internet and stuff, I will repost it again on there. And then there's also my Tumblr page. For some reason, it's still in existence, and I haven't actually really updated it, so yeesh. Oh well. So if you're wondering, like, what brushes that I use for coloring, I ended up deciding to use is my marker brushes that I created. I named them after a marker company, well, or actually product company, product branding or whatever. Basically, they're Copics is what I brand them as. You know, it was easier for me to go like, oh yeah, they're very similar in look and stuff as Copics, but instead of being really vibrant, I wanted them more of the shape and texture of it, but also have it light so that I can do multiple layers instead of being, very thick in color. And I just didn't like it when I first made them. They were, work in progress until I got to the way I wanted. It took some time to actually tweak a lot of these brushes. So, if you're wondering why I chose was Juliet in the first place here, or AKA Aunt Peg, well, I happen to like the way that she looks, and I've seen quite a bit of her earlier films back in the day. Yes, there are adult films, but a lot of the ones I've seen that I happen to really liked, these ones were more story based instead of like just, you know, effing. There was actual acting and it was an actual storyline that was actually somewhat entertaining and engaging. It's not like these really bad acting, trying to get from point A to point B, and the point B is the sex. That's the whole thing, more or less. It's just show how you get two people together to, and then they have is intercourse for no reason or whatever. This gives you a reason why to actually pay attention to it, of her films, an actual story, to where she's actually acting and stuff, and yes, she's being provocative. She is a smart, very engaging woman, and all of her characters are very engaging and well rounded. They're not caricatures, but living, breathing people is what she always portrays. And all of her characters that she has done is that they're well written, they're well acted, and I would say is that self-empowered woman. So she happens to be one of many adult actresses back in the day that I happen to like, because not just of their beauty, not just because of their acting abilities or anything like that. It's more of how they portrayed their characters. Of course, that is acting ability, but it's the characters that they brought to life that made them real, familiar, and of course engaging, but also relatable. Especially a lot of these stories that she's done in different adult films, even if you cut out the sex scenes and stuff, the whole story it works anyways. Even with a lot of the sex scenes with certain films, it gives a reason why she is who she is and why she has these relationships. You know, her characters that she's portrayed have these relationships, and you end up seeing a little more than you think. And yeah. Now let's go back to talking about the artwork in general and what am I doing? Of course, you're seeing me coloring and picking of the colors. If you're wondering, like, where do I get those color palettes? Well, I did was actually do a little thing with Procreate where you had was the ability to literally take the color samples from whatever image that you have to basically incorporate it into a palette. So yeah, it's like a quick, easy little thing that's hidden within Procreate that you can actually do this. And by the way, all of the brushes for Procreate and stuff like that are fully transferable into the animation program that Procreate has as well. By the way, all of my palettes that I have created, I have them up in with the packets of my brushes and stuff that are being sold on Etsy and also on Coffee and stuff. So, yeah, that's where they're located. I didn't bother to sell them separately or anything like that. I'll probably put a link up to say, hey, you can go to my Ko-fi page and probably put like a whole entire pack for free just for, you know, the color palettes and stuff. And some color palettes I created, well, I also did was start doing it before I found the little trick in Procreate to do such a thing. I did was use was the dropper to basically pick each of the colors. So I did was the color picker to basically pick the colors, you know, that was on the images and stuff to create said, you know, color palette. Until I found was the little loophole to do so that was a little bit quicker. Yeah. Actually, if you want to know how I end up finding it, it's one was by mistake, and then I'm trying to figure out how did I do that and what happened. And then I couldn't fathom like how I did it because it's like I did something and I lost about how I did it, you know? It's like, okay, how? And then I end up trying to search and I found videos on how to do this. So there is videos on YouTube that actually show you in detail, which I was able to do so and redo it. Because when I first end up accidentally doing it, it's like, what did I do? You know, did it work? You know, oh, oh well. Sometimes when you're messing around with art programs and you do something that you didn't expect and was like this moment, it's like, and then you weren't really paying attention what you were doing more or less because you were just goofing around. And then you have to do is go look online to see how did I end up doing what I just did. And is there some way of, you know, someone actually recorded it or written it down, you know, typed it up, made an FAQ on this? Because sometimes I found like FAQs or videos about how to do something, and it's for a version of the program that don't exist anymore, or a program that don't exist. They just mislabeled it or some nonsense or something like that or whatever. Or they give you misinformation, because that happens a lot. Yeah. And right now, you can tell that I'm just coloring it in her face and eyes and all this that I've been doing. And I just randomly go from color to color, just layering it on instead of having it blocked out. Yeah. I know I could have used was one of my blender tools that I've created. There's a few times that my blending tool that I built, I had to do was fix it because a new update to Procreate just like kind of screwed up on me, just like messed it up. It's like, what the hell? And trying to rewrite it or whatever. There's a few times I absolutely did was accidentally delete it, um, my my brushes and stuff. Luckily, I have backups of them, so all I did was reinstall them. It's like, oh well. Oh, it's always a good thing to do is make up backups of all your stuff. Like, yeah, you may think, oh yeah, it's gonna be fine and stuff. Trust me, just in case if something goes wrong, like an update or, heaven forbid that you lost your device or it gets wiped out or the program gets wiped out or something, something goes wrong, that you have a backup for it, you know. Same thing with your images and stuff. Just always back up your stuff, especially the ones you really like. I don't mean just back it up online, just also having devices that, like I have is a dongle that connects to my iPad that has well, the dongle itself is also an adapter for SD cards. So plugged in a big old SD card, basically a little tiny chip as a mini hard drive more or less. Put it in and just start dumping off onto the chip is all of my artwork, good and bad and whatever. My and same thing with any other things that are important to me for documentary documents and stuff like that, including yeah, my music. Yeah, by the way, I do create music off and on, but most of it is just for my own benefit. I might actually show some of my songs and stuff that I created years and years ago, but that's then. Maybe. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. Well, I may or may not, but I'm thinking I will do this. Is showcase of another video that I did early on that I recorded of a digital drawing of, well, an adult film actress, one that I happen to like, for multiple reasons, not really the reasons that you may think, so keep your mind out of the gutter. So, yeah, anyways, I did not record it of me drawing it, so this is like kind of the final stages. So it's more of really of me coloring it than drawing. So yeah, I don't know what kind of commentary I'll add onto it. Maybe talk about one of you know the other little things of my life, or maybe of the actress and such. I don't know. I'll even do is some videos of me drawing other adult actresses and stuff, the ones I happen to like because of how they look, how they present themselves on screen and in person, as it were. Some of them have an interesting backstory of how they got to where they are and stuff, and some of them have passed away and such. So, yeah. After multiple audio retakes of this section, I have decided to go with my plan of uploading one of the videos that I had done, basically me coloring, not really drawing of the image, and it's going to be FK Parker, and I'm going to also do another video of me drawing, so it'll take me a little while because I don't always draw using Procreate or whatever. Mainly I do things by hand. It's just what I'm used to, so Yeah, and then there's times that I just don't feel like drawing. You know, it's a depressing time nowadays. Well, just how it is. I just wanted to let you know that, yeah, there's going to be other videos of me drawing of other people, you know, that actors that I happen to like, you know, of course, the adult film actors, well, mainly actresses, and also some obscure other, you know, YouTubers and stuff that I happen to or like how they look, you know. Maybe not always their content, but just how they present themselves, because face it, a pretty face actually sells a lot better than an ugly face. Oh, I will also do is a video of me just drawing a very, well, hideous face. You know, with a lot of detail and stuff, and no real editing, no trying to go back and forth and stuff. And if there's going to be any kind of editing, I'll use is the erase tool. So it's going to be that, and it might end up being like a raw 2 hour thing that's just, you know, depending on how it is, I might have it like within 30 minutes, maybe as much as like 2 hours of me randomly drawing, or decided, oh, I'm going to give up and go on to a new layer, you know, and draw another thing just to keep the reel going and whatever. And it's probably not going to have any commentary with any of that. So oh yeah. So it would be like, well, just put on whatever music you like. So just a heads up of what other adult actresses that I'm going to draw, you know, based off of their photos and stuff, you know, past and present. So here is a list of some of them that I'm going to be doing, continuing more images from different profiles and different periods of their career or life. Would be like, of course, Juliet here, Juliet Anders. There's also going to be Kay Parker on, you know, Hartley, um, Christina Barrington, and I will be drawing of actors and other artists, writers, and such and whatnot. People that I happen to like them for their abilities of their craft and stuff. And yeah, including musicians and stuff. So uh, they'll be sporadic, so it's not going to be like a big block of one kind of images that I'm going to be doing, and then it's going to be another set. So, you know, it's not going to be like a big block of pornographic actors and actresses, and then, you know, of all the rest. No, it's going to be intermingled of like switching back and forth between, you know, video uploads. It's more of like what image that inspires me, because I'm trying my best to get it done. So that's it. Before I go, I would like to say is like and subscribe if you want. Share the video if you care to. Until next time, bye bye. I'm out.